Right, jack of all trades, a master of none. A quote that we hear a lot on the internet these days, which most of the time I think people are portraying it in a negative way. Some can say you are inconsistent, and others even claim to not be really good at anything. I understand that can be true to some level, especially due to the fact that you're only trying a lot of things on a level that's really low and not trying to achieve greatness in it. Maybe if you're trying like a game, you're not one of the pros. I mean, if you think about it, let's say you pick up something new that you want to learn, maybe like coding, maybe you start the gym with big goals or something. And then at first, you're really consistent and you're really excited, you get that dopamine hit. But then after a while, you start noticing that there's another interest that's actually grabbing your attention, and you slowly start to lose your motivation for the thing that you had started with. Maybe coding, for example, it feels like you're collecting nothing, like it's just not going to benefit you or something. And that honestly can just leave you feeling really helpless. It feels like you're not really making progress at anything because you start something, you read somewhere, and then you just quit. For a long time now, I've been a victim of this same exact concept, and this has honestly been affecting different parts of my own life. Sometimes it's been books, different courses that I kept trying out online, and even gaming, out of all things. We've all at some point been guilty of sitting on sales, waiting on the next discount to purchase a game that we actually like, even though we have lots of them in our libraries that we still haven't tried out yet. This happens mostly with story games for me. I have multiple story games that I just played for a while and just never touched them ever again. And I know you could be feeling the same frustration, where every new start feels like another unfinished chapter. But at this point, we need to shift our thinking a bit in order to fully understand what we're dealing with. This is all held by just a simple concept: be an amateur, a French word with a similar meaning to lover, which is defined as an enthusiast who pursues her work in the spirit of love, regardless of the potential for fame, money, or career. To put this in the gaming concept, you're gonna find that people play games. Maybe for some, it's because they want to make a career out of it. For some, it could be competing with their own friends. Some people just want to challenge themselves to see if they could reach the top ranks. And for some of these reasons is why we are not able to enjoy the game. Because if you were to look at this from an amateur perspective, you're gonna find that the amateur, he loves playing, not because he wants to finish it, not because of performance or anything. Sometimes we play a game and find ourselves going onto YouTube and searching for tutorials. Maybe there's a level we've reached and we're not able to get past it. The first thing that we do is that we search for the solution, and this could sometimes be due to fear of failure or maybe not wanting to involve your brain in the gaming process. But an amateur has many possibilities. He's able to try out new things without the fear of failure. That means he could just try out anything to see if it works. And sometimes we are able to find things that actually exist in games just because you tried out something different than everybody else. I'll give you an example from this book that I read. It's called The Creator's Code by Amy Wilkinson, and she basically explains the different types of creators, and one of them are called the architects. And she gave an example of how Elon Musk had an idea where he envisioned plants from Earth growing on Mars soil. But in the process of executing this kind of idea, he found out that the rockets were so expensive. So instead of doing what anybody else would, just buy the expensive rockets because, well, that's the price of the rockets. He wondered why the existing rockets were really expensive and began examining. And just from this deep reflection, he found out that rockets in most cases couldn't be used more than once. And to be honest, if let's say all the different airplanes that we see flying out every day, let's say for example, one airplane flies from one place to the other, and then after that flight, the plane gets disposed. This is obviously going to make air travel really expensive, which made him to the conclusion that reusability was the fix. Basically, just design a machine that can be reused later on instead of disposing it. And he achieved this by questioning everything just like a child, just like a beginner's mind, which is the mind of an amateur. So with all that's been said, being a jack of all trades gives you the ability to be an amateur, and being an amateur, it helps you become adaptable. You can be the kind of person who can walk into new situations and actually thrive because you've been exposed to so much, and for multiple times you've been able to experience a breakthrough. Maybe you're not the master of one thing yet, but mastery can come in different forms. And sometimes the real strength of being a jack of all trades is in connecting dots that no one else is, just like an amateur. So take it from me, be an amateur of all trades, and this is honestly going to give you the ability to be a master of lots.